On a sweltering July afternoon in 2019, the facade of suburban bliss was shattered in a way that would haunt the community for years to come. At the center of this tragedy were the Hendersons. Thaddeus, a 45-year-old investment banker, and his wife, Margot, a 43-year-old part-time yoga instructor. They had been fixtures in the community for over a decade, their seemingly perfect marriage the envy of many. Next door lived the Coopers, Elaine, a widow, and her 19-year-old son, Liam. The Coopers had moved in 5 years ago, and while they kept to themselves, they were generally well-liked. No one could have predicted that these ordinary lives would collide in such a catastrophic way. Thaddeus Henderson was driven by ambition. Born to working-class parents in rural Iowa, he clawed his way up the social ladder through sheer determination. By his early 30s, he had established himself as a rising star at a financial company. Margot Sinclair, before her marriage, had a different trajectory. She grew up in a household that valued creativity and self-expression. A knee injury in her senior year derailed her dreams of a dance career, leading her to pivot towards yoga and wellness coaching. Their paths crossed at a charity gala in 2003. Thaddeus, already successful but lacking social graces, was drawn to Margot's vivacity and charm. They married a year later, and the early years of their marriage were happy ones. But as the years wore on, cracks began to appear. Thaddeus's work hours grew longer, and Margot found herself increasingly restless. By the summer of 2019, the Hendersons' marriage was a carefully maintained facade. To the outside world, they still appeared to be the golden couple. But behind closed doors, they were virtual strangers. The Coopers moved in next door in 2014. Liam Cooper, a lanky, introverted teenager, found a mentor in Thaddeus, who offered him odd jobs around the neighborhood. Over the next 5 years, Liam blossomed into a handsome young man. It was during this time that he first encountered Margot Henderson in a new light. The spark that ignited the affair between Margot and Liam was as unexpected as it was intense. It happened during one of the Hendersons' legendary summer barbecues. Thaddeus was holding court near the grill, and Margot, feeling isolated, retreated to the pool house. Liam entered, not realizing it was occupied. Their eyes met, and in that instant, something shifted. Over the next few weeks, Margot and Liam found themselves manufacturing reasons to be in each other's company. Their first kiss happened almost a month after the barbecue, and from that point, their affair escalated quickly. They were reckless, driven by a combination of Liam's youthful passion and Margot's desperation to feel alive again. But as the summer wore on, the strain of maintaining their secret began to show. Close calls became more frequent, and the guilt started to weigh on them both. Yet, despite the risks, neither seemed able to end the affair. July 15, 2019, dawned hot and humid, the air heavy with the promise of an approaching storm. Thaddeus left for work early, unaware that his return home would be earlier than planned and that his world was about to change forever. At 3:45 p.m., Thaddeus returned home unexpectedly. The house was quiet, but something felt off. As he climbed the stairs, he heard muffled sounds coming from the master bedroom. What Thaddeus saw when he opened the door would be forever seared into his memory. In a fit of blind rage, Thaddeus attacked Liam, and in the chaos, a heavy crystal bookend became a weapon. The piercing wail of police sirens shattered the usual tranquility of the community. The first officers on the scene were met with a tableau of horror. Inside, they found a shell-shocked Thaddeus Henderson, his hands covered in blood, sitting on the edge of the bed. Margot, barely clothed and hysterical, tried to make sense of the violence that had erupted. Detective Ava Rossi took charge of the scene. Despite their efforts, Liam Cooper was pronounced dead at 9:47 p.m., never regaining consciousness. Thaddeus was charged with second-degree murder, and as the investigation unfolded, the full story of the Hendersons' disintegrating marriage and the forbidden affair came to light. The Henderson trial began 6 months later, drawing intense media attention. Prosecuting attorney Veronica Talbot painted Thaddeus as a man consumed by rage and jealousy. The defense argued it was a tragic accident, the result of a confrontation that spiraled out of control. Witnesses testified, forensic evidence was presented, and Margot's emotional account captivated the courtroom. Thaddeus took the stand, his testimony a study in contrasts. Moments of apparent remorse interspersed with flashes of the anger that led to Liam's death. He spoke of the pressures he faced, the growing distance in his marriage, and the shock of discovering his wife's infidelity. As the trial drew to a close, the community of Riverside was left to grapple with the devastating impact of the Henderson tragedy. There were no clear villains or heroes in this story, only victims of secrets and lies that had finally come to light in the most devastating manner possible. The verdict would decide Thaddeus's fate, but the scars left on all involved would last a lifetime. The Henderson tragedy remains a haunting reminder of how quickly a seemingly perfect life can unravel, leaving destruction in its wake. Subscribe to True Sinister Stories for more chilling tales.